Good afternoon, Mark Conlock, Director of Horticulture here at Green Bay Botanical Garden for Mondays with Mark. I want to share some ideas with you for patio, balcony, small space gardening. So if you have a smaller space like a patio or balcony, a couple things you can do. Well, first of all, maybe I guess I'm not going to say not to do because this is an awesome specimen of geranium, but you can see, look how this one plant just like takes up all this area. So if you have a small space, you might want to be like, giving that away for a while. I'm going to come over and do something else where I can get my plant on and have a mixed container where you have a whole bunch of different flowers so that you can go shopping, support your local greenhouses, and get a lot of cool stuff in one pot. So maximizing the plants in your pot could be one first little idea of what to do. And another idea, I want to go over to another pot too, but I want to show you this one here in the cottage garden at Green Bay Botanical Garden, because this is a really nice ornamental edible pot. We have the marigolds to attract pollinators, we have parsley, we have the sorrel, we have some basil, we have the cilantro, we have some rosemary. So one idea is use herbs and vegetables in your container. They look awesome, they have the different foliage, but then you can also eat them and have a little bit of a culinary use right on your patio or balcony. So that's one good way to maximize your space. All right, if we come over here, we see a really nice combination done by Lindsay here, horticulture manager at Green Bay Botanical Garden. And what I like about this is she has this upside down pot, so she's kind of going vertical, so using the space that way. And I like how these three containers kind of all work together so that you can have your plants, you can save money at the nursery buying a 6-pack or a 4-pack and then using the same plants in all the different containers. Again, we have a pollinator plant of the lantana, alyssum, we have some bloom without bloom with the Dusty Miller, and then we have some edibles in here with the rosemary. So again, using the edible. And the other thing for maximizing space is we have this trellis behind. So she could have grown a vine in here to climb up this trellis, and it's maximizing our space by going vertical. So another idea would be over here we have an espaliered apple. Needs a little bit of pruning, but you can buy, espaliered trees like this and just grow them in a container on your patio or balcony. Just remember that those fruit trees need a lot of sunshine. And some of our vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, Solanaceae family members need a lot. So another thing to do to maximize your space would be to have a pot like this on wheels so that you can move it around, because they can be pretty heavy and the sunlight on your patio or balcony might change throughout the day, and it probably does. So you might need to actually kind of like move that thing around into the sunlight. So think about that when you're thinking about the veggies you're growing. Because another thing for the patio and balcony gardening is to succession plant, just like you would in your normal garden. Like you could have had lettuce or radishes in your container in the beginning of the season when it was a cool season crop. And then when that gets to bolt and like this is no longer really tasty, you could flip out, pull those out, and then put peppers or tomatoes or some other plants into that same container, so you can kind of maximize your container space. And then when you have to flip these out again in the fall, you could go back to lettuce or radishes or some crop that has a very short growing season that you can get another crop in. So same things you do in your garden, you can do on a smaller scale in those patio and balcony spaces. Another couple ideas you can see over here, this ladder structure that's being used to grow some cucumbers up. So that could be something you could do in a container on your patio. Oh yeah, I was going to point out the Swiss Chard you can see here, and this is rhubarb I think actually, but over there was Swiss Chard. That's another plant that you could use as an ornamental edible. So it has that really nice foliage, very similar to this guy, but is edible too. And then over here, a couple more ideas. There's some strings here, which here it's on an arbor structure, but you could do something on a patio or a balcony if your landlord allows you to put a little screw in the siding and maybe have a string where you grow a vine up. And to tie into our habitat exhibit, you can see you could grow a birdhouse gourd, or you could hang a little birdhouse. You could have some water out on your patio or balcony to attract birds or insects and have habitat there. Over here is kind of a really cool idea where Lindsay has these orchids hanging from this arbor here. So that's something to consider if you have more of a shady environment on your patio or balcony. And because you have shade doesn't mean you can't grow plants, of course, because there's all the different annuals that grow in the shade. So you can see here this nice combination of where she stepped up again here to a higher vertical element to kind of add some interest and maximize the space, if you will. And the other quick last thing I want to mention to you is even if you have a shady environment, lettuce and leafy vegetables actually don't need as much sunlight as tomatoes and peppers, so you should still be able to grow some of those crops if you're looking to get some like culinary experience from your patio or balcony and it's in a shaded environment. So those are just a couple ideas of how to maximize your space in a smaller space, especially patio or balcony, like I've said a lot of times here, but that's what it's all about. So for more information, check out our website, gbvg.org, and our Facebook.